of Queen Portatitty. Written by Jody Whitt, read by Amanda Whitt. Chapter 1. Once upon a time, there lived a queen named Portatitty. She lived in Bowerland in a palace of rectal thermometers. She carried a pet toilet with her night and day. She named it Frank because it stank, and her life was sheer bliss. The lovely queen was clad in a shimmering robe made from the purest manure fragments retrieved from the pasture of heifers on the eastern end of Bowerland. Her hair was conditioned daily with the cleansing mud rinse, and she always smelled of raw sewage fragrance. Outside her robe, Queen Portatitty wore a lovely sequin bra and matching panties, which sparkled in the sunlight. Her pink, high-top sneakers were freshly soiled from her morning romp in the palace toilet. Her necklace of frozen pea hung around her neck, just touching her lovely sequin bra. This necklace of frozen yellow crystal was kept cool constantly by a miniature refrigerator system that Queen Portatitty had installed inside her bra several years before. On her head, there was a golden crown engraved with a single word, Anus. This engraving was not only a mystery to all of Queen Portatitty's subjects, but also to Queen Portatitty herself. So, one fine morning, as Queen Portatitty rose from her beauty rest in her waterbed filled with diarrhea doo-doo, she decided to search the entire realm for the secret behind the engraving on her crown. Anus, anus. What could it possibly mean, she thought. In a fit of desperation, Queen Portatitty ran throughout the palace of rectal thermometers in search of a Webster's 9th New Collegiate Dictionary. Finally, her lengthy search, she found a dictionary and immediately began to file through its pages. "Ah, here it is," she said, and began to read the definition. Anus. The posterior opening of the alimentary canal. She immediately began to look up alimentary canal. With a sigh of relief, she read the next definition, alimentary canal. The tubular passage that extends from the mouth to anus and functions in digestion and absorption of pee and waste.
What? Continue.
Fascinated, but still confused, Queen Portatitty threw the dictionary out of the window, unknowingly injuring a poor peasant woman below, who was delivering an offering of rusted tin cans to the queen. Subsequently, Queen Portatitty began to pace the floor of her room. Taking the crown off her head, she thought, "Who could solve this horrid riddle? Anus, anus," she said, "my kingdom for an anus." Suddenly, there was a knock upon her door. "Yes," she said. A muffled voice from the other side said, "My queen, it is time for your royal breakfast. Your mother, Empress Pyloduki, and Lady Constipation are waiting for you in the morning lounge." Queen Portatitty bluntly stomped her foot and rushed out the door. In the lounge, Lady Constipation, Queen Portatitty's sister, sat waiting as her breakfast was served. At the end of the massive table sat Empress Pyloduki, a dull, boring woman whose favorite pastime was counting manure piles in the royal cow field. In a long, lazy drawl, the Empress said, "Oh dear, I do believe that Portatitty's breakfast has gotten cold again. and how she loves mud muffins, rocks, and all. Oh, tisk, tisk. Constipation, could you pass the plunger, please? Storming down the stairs came Queen Portatitty. Both Lady Constipation and Empress stopped, and the Empress stopped eating and glared in her direction. Why doesn't anyone know why the word anus is printed on my crown? Huh? She said. Doesn't anyone have the slightest idea? Angrily, the Empress shouted, Young lady, you sit your buns right down right now and eat your condensed urine cakes and mud muffins. They're getting cold for breast's sake. Clearly ticked off, Queen Portatitty stomped right over the chair that the Empress was sitting in and said, Mother, shut your lanky anus before I float an air biscuit up your left nostril. All right, that's enough, young lady. Up to your room this instant, said Empress Piloduki. I'd have enough of this crap, said Queen Portatitty, and she picked up her mother by the breast and threw her out of the palace window into a nearby pasture. Lady Constipation began to applaud. Then suddenly a loud blare of trumpets was heard, and the Royal Imperial Guard entered the breakfast lounge and seized Queen Portatitty, uttering profanity. Empress Piloduki entered the room and ordered that Queen Portatitty be placed in a permanent exile from Bowland and thrown out of the palace of rectal thermometers. Chapter 2. Lost, confused, and alone, with the exception of her pet toilet Frank, Queen Portatitty left Bowland. The path that led out of the kingdom took Queen Portatitty to the outer borders of Bowland and into territory considered strictly off limits to the inhabitants of the kingdom. After passing an ancient sign engraved with foreign marks, she glanced behind her and noticed that she was now miles away from the palace of rectal thermometers and the disgusting beauty of Bowland. Chapter 3. 9 days had passed since Queen Portatitty left Bowland, and was rather ticked off to say the least. Her necklace of frozen pea had completely melted 3 days earlier, and had nothing to eat except for a bag of freeze-dried bird droppings, and she still hadn't figured out the mystery behind the engraving of the word anus on her crown. Well, scratch my titty. I'm just about fed up with this crap, Queen Portatitty said as she stomped her foot on the ground. Where in the flop titty am I? She asked. Confused, Frank, her pet toilet, flushed constantly 3 times and overflowed. Indigestion again, babe, asked Queen Portatitty. Would you like something for that? After installing a fresh titty bowl cleaner in Frank's bowl, Queen Portatitty continued her journey to nowhere in particular. As the day continued, Queen Portatitty and her pet toilet roamed the strange countryside far from her home. They followed a faint trail apparently made by an ancient herd of retarded cattle as they ran wildly across the hillside centuries before. The trail led them through many miles of rolling grasslands, which smelled vaguely like manure, probably ancient manure originated from those cows that wandered aimlessly through there many centuries before. Then, after spending the majority of the day wandering, Queen Portatitty found a large concrete building with one open door and one sign overhead, which read, Bertha's Big Beautiful Bra Shop for Broads. Thinking that she had found paradise, Queen Portatitty skipped over to the entrance, told Frank to wait just a minute outside, then entered. Yay.